Hello and welcome to the Fit Executive Show. Your host, Arne Wildner, lost 50 pounds himself before helping hundreds of other entrepreneurs and executives sustainably lose weight and take charge of their health. In the Fit Executive Show, you'll learn field-tested weight loss strategies and how to effectively juggle your successful life and staying fit at the same time. Please welcome your host, Arne Wildner.
Let's have some fun with this. Okay. Yeah, Doug, Kenda, welcome to the show.
Hey, Arne.
Good morning, Arne.
Oh, my goodness. I was really looking forward to this call because we started working, I think it was in June, right? Yeah. Before we go over all of this, like what we've achieved and what changed so far, give us a little background.
Who are we, Kenda? We live in the prairies. We're both farm kids. We own an oil field service business. We're in our, I don't know if I'm supposed to share my wife's age or not, but we're both in our 50s. And, you know, we have two adult children who are both professionals and moved out on their own. And Kenda and I have been on a bit of a fitness journey for 16 years, Kenda, I guess. We started when we turned 40, learned how to snowboard when I think I was 40, Kenda was 37. That's 16 years ago. And we lost some weight at that time and gained a little bit of fitness, but we tried to capture a lot of the information through reading a lot of books, and we went to some personal trainers, a few different personal trainers over the years, and we knew some things, but we didn't know as many things as we know today. But after coming through COVID, we gained a little bit of weight through that and lost some of our access to the gym. I know that's maybe a weak excuse, but just as we aged and our kids are now looking at having their kids and we're faced with the potential of grandchildren, I think we're starting to think more about health span and longevity than just about vanity, which is maybe what drove us when we did this 16 years ago. I'm not sure, and needed to refocus. And I don't know, somehow we came across you, Arne. You reached out to us on LinkedIn, or I'm not sure how through some of your marketing channels anyways, and kind of got some interest. Hey, this looks interesting, and maybe we need to refocus our efforts again.
Fantastic.
We work hard, and I guess in our spare time we're physically active, walking at our place at the lake, water sports, surfing behind the boat, sailing. I like to golf and play hockey. We both ski a little bit. Is that fair to say, Kenda? Ski, snowboard in the wintertime, snowmobiling. We both participate in that, but we were running into trouble with social occasions, I think, was probably bogging us down. Our weekends, we were still had a decent focus through the week, but the weekends were probably
getting out of control.
Yeah.
What's your situation like before you joined? You were not drastically overweight or anything, but what made you decide, hey, I need to change something?
For me, like Doug said, we've been down the journey for a few years now, and we've always been consistent, I feel, with the gym. I've been consistent with yoga for 15 years, going 2 to 4 times a week. The gym has never been an issue as far as the habit. Walking, we've always been consistent with walking, but I think our eating kind of got out of control. We lost touch with what we were putting in our bodies, not paying attention to it. For me, when Doug brought this to me in June, he said, hey, should we be going down this path of maybe working with Arne? And I didn't even give it a second thought. I instantly said yes. I was ready to have some help getting back on track, I think. Now, when I look back, I had a few aching body parts like my back, my knees, and I was starting to go down the path of doctoring, trying to figure out why this was happening. Of course, it's a long road to go down. As soon as I started losing a little bit of weight, guess what went away? My back ache, my knee aches. And so looking back, I didn't even know that was my issue.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'd share the same thing, Arne, that we had made a visit to the Mayo Clinic 2 or 3 years ago, Kenda, I think.
Yeah.
And Kenda had some back pains at that time. I came away diagnosed, thought I had some other issues that turned out to be non-issues. But most surprising to me, and this was 3 years ago, so I was 52 years old. They gave me a diagnosis of early stage osteoarthritis in my hips. And I had never been a real heavy guy. I was always physically active, and I was shocked at that.
Yeah.
And some of this kind of pain that I had in my legs, groin, midsection, it was osteoarthritis. And I haven't been back. I haven't been re-x-rayed, but a lot of the aches and pains that I have had are just magically disappeared. I've dropped 20 pounds, and tennis elbow that I get from playing golfing or playing hockey, I may still get it, but I recover much more quickly. My hips and my IT bands, everything feels much better. I recover much more quickly. And I'm not sure if it's the loss of the weight, the diet that we're on. It's been tremendous change. And I guess just we see some of the health challenges in Canada with our healthcare system right across the country. We have a daughter that lives in British Columbia and many friends and family that live in Alberta. In the western part of the country, we have good familiarity, and there's a lot of challenges with getting diagnosis in our country. We were looking out, okay, how can we mitigate this, or how can we manage it? We need to take responsibility and look after our own health, because it's pretty tough to find a doctor or get a diagnosis or get into a doctor in a timely manner. I think that's a problem right across the country.
And I think it's more fun to be able to go to the gym or be able to go for a walk than to waste time having to go to a doctor's appointment.
Prevention is better than cure. And yeah, this is one of the things I think that makes our philosophy maybe a little bit different than others. We treat food as medicine, and we treat exercise as medicine, and we treat sleep as medicine. And what were the most surprising aspects of working with us? Like where you were like, oh, I didn't expect that. Or also maybe some things where you were like, oh, I wasn't sure if I was able to drink alcohol, but can see myself losing weight and gaining muscle while enjoying life. What were the most surprising things on your journey so far?
When we started this, it was, okay, this is summertime. Summertime is lots of social activities, going to the lake. Is this a good time to start? And I guess looking back, today is the great time to start for anybody. There's always a reason not to, or a certain holiday or a certain function that's coming up. We've been, like we said, have been through this now through summer, fall, Christmas, New Year's. You adapt every time. So I guess probably for me, looking back in the summertime, probably 2 months in, Doug and I both said to each other that we were surprised. And we don't want to use the word easy because it's not easy, but we didn't really feel restricted in our foods that we got to eat. And that was the biggest learning thing for me. Nothing was taken away. We just had to be more aware of how much and what we were putting in our bodies to not go overboard on the calories. I lost track of how many calories I was putting in my body per day. And that was the biggest learning thing at the start of this process for me.
Okay.
When we started our fitness journey, and I think amongst our friend group, people might have looked, because we went to the gym and Kenda went to yoga, people might have looked at us like we were somewhat fit people, but we were looking at ourselves, seeing that we were starting to slide. And I don't know, you had a book, Kenda, I think it was by Tosca Reed, and she talked that your results are 80% in the kitchen and 20% in the gym, I think. And we had just lost sight of that, Arne. And I would liken it to every once in a while, Apple comes out with an iPhone software update, and all of a sudden not all the time, but all of a sudden it makes your phone work better. That's what this was for me. We do some of these things, but we weren't accurately counting our calories, and we were lying to ourselves, and that's part of your system. We started counting our calories, and it was just
collecting data. It's not only about the calories, right? It's also the protein. It's also the step count. It's how much deep sleep you're getting, how much REM sleep you're getting, right? We cannot just look at calories without any context around it. And I think that is making a big difference also for you guys, because when you look at the right metrics day after day, it's like a tool of self-accountability, and you start seeing the patterns. You start seeing the like what affects my deep sleep, for example, right? Do I get away with 1 glass of wine, or can I drink 3 glasses of wine without it getting affected, for example, right? So that's, yeah, metrics matter a lot, or what you measure gets improved. So the data collection, would you say, was helpful to know what to track and what not to track, what's really relevant and what's not?
The sleep wasn't even on our radar before.
Okay.
Until you introduced that to us. That wasn't even no clue about that. And that's been huge. Saturday night, we ended up staying up a little bit too late. And Sunday morning, we both looked at each other and went, why did we do that? And then we woke up groggy, and we actually both had to go to the gym that day just to fit our 3 workouts in this week.
Cool.
And we went and we did it, and I actually had an okay workout, but I was tired. And it was like, hey, Kenda 2.0 did not show up Saturday night. I resorted back to my 1.0. Yeah, the sleeping that you introduced and tracking it has been huge to me.
Yeah. The way that we work is you've got your exercise, you've got your nutrition, they are the workers, but then stress and sleep are your gatekeepers, right? You can have the best workers in the world. If the gates are closed, then you're not getting the return on investment for the efforts that you put into the nutrition and the training, right? But speaking of sleep and stress, do you want to touch on that? Your cortisol levels, like we see with the data that we're looking at, that your cortisol levels have dropped drastically. They are optimized right now. You got started in June at quite a high cortisol levels. Would you like to touch on that, Kenda?
I wouldn't have even been aware that was happening in my body without the data that we have collected. How would I know what I was at and how much I've been improving it? It's amazing to see the data and go back and look over the past month. The data is a huge tool to help keep us going and realize how far we have come, because I think it's easy to forget how far a person's come during this process.
Just to give some.
I don't know if I've shared this with you, Arne, sorry, previously, but my business, or our business, it's instrumentation automation, where it's a measurement and controls business. We do a lot of measurement services. And from that data, then we implement automation controls and those types of things within the oil field. The analogy, or metaphorically, with what your system does really resonates heavily with me, that, hey, you can't control something if you first don't measure it. Hey, when you track your calories, track all of your inputs that you talk about, how can I ever begin to think about controlling an output or a result if you got to upload some data at the beginning? And I think any business people that you seek out to be your clients, whether that's financial data or whatever that is, you cannot control any of those things if you first don't start to keep track of some metrics, right? So
and you wouldn't run your business based on guesswork and feelings. You look at numbers, you look at KPIs, you track those things, you track trends, right? And you set quarterly goals and you set yearly goals. You break those down into milestones, right? So just having something that's tangible and where, okay, did I hit my goal or not? Or to what degree did I hit my goal here? But going back to the blood work, Doug, when you came in, your blood work was looking okay, and now we had the second blood work. What are you the most proud of? What
we haven't reviewed it together yet, I guess. Arne, those results are fairly fresh in for our 6 months. Kenda's kicking my butt in this category, but I was still excited. I dropped my inner age by 5 years, and that's ultimately the goal. But my inflammation markers, which are things that I didn't, we go to our standard health professionals, and they give you a pretty broad range of what's acceptable. The Inside Tracker app gives you a much tighter range of what's optimal, what's okay, and what's optimal. And my inflammation markers have dropped. As you said, our cortisol levels have dropped. And sleep, diet, exercise, movement, all of these things have too many drinks, alcohol, whatever. All of these things have an interplay together. And it's just affected my overall resiliency, I would say. Not just recovery from tennis elbow, going out and doing some sports, But when I have stressors at work, and I've had some major ones in the last 6 months, I feel a bit like a lot younger guy, that I could just deal with it and manage it more. Where I maybe used to would have went home and had a beer or a glass of whiskey or something like that to help manage the stress. And now I'm able to go home, sleep well that night, get up and deal with it in the morning as if I was a 20 or 30-year-old guy again. And I didn't think that was possible.
Wow. Yeah, I was about to ask you. We've talked about of data, that's like a dry topic. How did you actually experience those changes in your day-to-day life? The having more energy, having more resilience, what you've described. How do you experience that in your everyday life? In what situations do you feel it the most?
You answer that one, Kenda.
The first thing that pops into my mind is about a week and a half ago, I caught myself in a snowstorm, a really bad snowstorm.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that because of where I am mentally and physically, it helped me get through that very dramatic time. I was alone, driving by myself. It was pretty scary. It took me 5 hours to get a 2-hour track home. So that was one of the times that I thought previous to this.
You didn't make it home, Kenda.
No, I didn't make it home the first night. It took me 3 hours to make it a hour trip, and then the next day I finished it off, and I couldn't make it the whole way. But that's just one of the first ones that pop into my mind, because the stress and the anxiety, I think, would have put me through the roof and I would have shut down, but I was able to push through it. And I think it's because of where I am with my point that I am mentally and physically.
It's so funny how the physical strength and this transformation leads to more mental strength as well, right? Because you have to withstand some hard situations, right? Where you don't feel like working out, but you show up anyways. Where you don't feel like going for a walk, but you show up anyways because you want to keep the promise that you've made for yourself, right? And by keeping promises to yourself, you create this self-belief and this trust in yourself and in your abilities. And you feel like, I can do this. I've done hard things, right? My workout this morning was harder than the snowstorm, and I did it anyway. So now what else can I do? How about your clothes? I know that women always like to talk about clothes. Clothes, yeah. Were you able to put on some nice outfits, or any surprises, like old outfits that you dug out where you're like, it's fitting again?
Yeah, so probably a story that I shared with Doug, we had went to Europe the end of September, and I had bought some new clothes in June before we started down this journey. So they were getting a little bit big on me. So I went and got them tailored. And there was one pair of shorts that she had said to me, I don't think we'll tailor these. So I ended up not wearing them because it was a little bit cool where we were. But fast forward to last week, I needed to get some more clothes tailored. So I put these shorts back on, and my body weight maybe hasn't changed that much, but the way that I have lost inches has altered how these shorts fit on me. So I had to go get them altered again. Very exciting.
That's awesome. Like, how do you experience the changes now in your day-to-day life?
Just in the last few weeks, Arne, I started to think about how we had accepted, because I'm 55, Kenda's 52, how we had accepted that just a lot of things in our day-to-day lives have become, just because we were getting older, and we can't do that, or I go out and shovel the driveway, my back hurts a bit. I'm 55, it's gonna hurt more than when I was 25. And playing hockey, going for a walk, just everything, doing laundry, doing stuff around the house. I don't do a lot of laundry, I better back up on that one, but helping Kenda around the house, whatever it is, it's just, I gotta sit down and have a rest. And all of a sudden we just have more energy. And this whole construct that we had created in our mind that these things were happening because we were older it's all bullshit. I think I'm in as good a shape as I was when I was, I don't know when, 18 or 19 or 20 years old is how I compare it. And I don't know if I have exactly that kind of energy today, but it's pretty good. And I feel pretty good. And we had to put some work in to get here, but it also took us 35 years, to slide back the other way. And I think we signed on with you 6 or 7 months ago. In a 6 or 7 month time frame, all of a sudden we've got our energy back in a whole bunch of facets, a whole bunch of ways.
Yeah.
Everything we do, whether it's we go skiing, we went skiing with our family at Christmas time, and I was able to ski. There was night skiing. I was able to start skiing at 9 in the morning and go till 6 or 7 at night. And I don't know if I could have did that 10 or 20 or 30 years ago even.
Yeah.
The idea that just because you get old, you got to start slowing down it's kind of untrue. It's something we tell ourselves and we start to accept it, but you don't have to. And there's such a great life to be lived if you can move around a bit.
Yeah. If you feel confident inside your body. How has it affected the way that you show up as a leader in business? Did you notice a change on how people see you or how you deal with situations when you make decisions or when you are negotiating with people? What's the difference?
I would say, and I've always been a pretty optimistic, positive person, I think, Kenda, is that fair to say? Maybe too optimistic sometimes, but it's given me more confidence, Arne. Just more resiliency, more confidence. There's a lot of people that have noticed, hey, Doug, you've lost some weight. We have had some comments like you've lost too much weight. And Ken and I have discussed that as well. But from a family perspective, our kids are very healthy and fit. So there's a lot of, when we do get together for a Sunday dinner, a trip that the whole family's together, there's a lot of conversation around health and fitness, shared information. So I think you can tell your kids a lot of things and they're probably not going to listen to you, but if you model a behavior, if you're walking the talk, they see that. And I think that's had a positive influence on them. Within our business, some of my partners and employees, one of our core values in our business is well-being and safety. So I've seen a lot of people that have started their own fitness journey. I don't know if I'm an influence on that or if Ken and I are an influence on that, but we may have been. And I think if I can't have dominion over my own self, my own body, how should I expect to lead other people? That's just a simple accountability issue within the business, whatever it is. That health and well-being component is another part of that I've got to model that behavior. I can't tell my staff, hey, you should quit smoking because you're spending too much time outside having cigarettes, or you should get more fit so you can do your job more effectively, because some of the jobs we do are there's good physical requirements. So I think it's important that the leader of the business models that behavior too.
Yeah.
How can I expect somebody else to do it when I'm not doing it, I guess?
That's right. The thing is, I think how being fit translate to being a leader is that people know that you cannot buy a six-pack. You have to put in work, right? So this is what they see. They see the abs, yes, but then they also see the self-discipline, the self-love, the consistency, the self-leadership. And this is on a subconscious level. This is affecting them. And this is what they really buy into. This is what makes you more authentic as a leader in business. I think it translates also into all of the other areas, whether that's leading your family better and having kids that follow your example because they see it's possible, but then also your employees, also your clients, like everybody in your world is looking at you with different eyes. This is my experience.
There's a few things within that, Arne, I guess, a few quotes that come to mind.
Yeah.
Once in a while, Kenda drags me along to her yoga class.
Yeah.
There's a sign on the wall that says, it's a quote by Gandhi that says, be the change, something to this effect, be the change that you want to see. Or I think of the Mother Teresa quote, only everyone would sweep their own doorstep, the whole world would be clean. So it's that, lead by that example is what that means. But I guess a big thing as a business owner, there was always an excuse. I never took the time when you mentioned self-love or self-care. My gym time was always at 1 o'clock in the afternoon after I got out of the office to get a lunch break. Say, this is a good time. I'm out of the office. I'm going to go hit the gym. But over the last several years, what would happen is there'd be a business call would come in, and I'd be parked and pulled up in front of the gym ready to go in. And this call with a client or an employee or whatever would just drag on 15 minutes, a half an hour. And then I'd look at my watch and it'd be, oh, shoot, I got to get back to the office. I don't have time to get to the gym. And I would just forego the thing that I would forego was looking after myself. And ultimately, that didn't serve anyone. I was starting to fail. I was my family, my business, everything. I didn't have the capacity and the energy to do the job that I did 10 or 20 years ago. I was getting slow and sluggish a little bit. And now, it is important to schedule. It is now in my calendar, literally, because when other people in the business look at my calendar, 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, my gym sessions are scheduled, and I can schedule a meeting, and a client's okay with me being in another meeting, or an employee's okay with me being in another meeting. And there is no more important meeting than my 3 hours a week at the gym. So
Absolutely agree. Now, when it comes to your kids, have they ever mentioned that they are proud of you, that you turned things around, that you took action on this, and do they see you do they see the transformation?
Oh, yes. I think they're very happy that we're going down the path of eating healthy and taking care of ourselves. Our son and our daughter-in-law have signed up for the gym as well. And, so it's a table talk discussion, that's for sure.
There's lots of internal rigorous debate and discussion. Rigorous discussion, I would say, Arne, with the family, which is good.
And we're teaching each other too. We're discussing different topics and different ideas, and it's a lot of education too, I would say. They're bringing a lot to us too. It's amazing that they're 26 and 29, and my daughter's the 29, and it's amazing how aware she is of her body already. And that makes me very happy because, she has a huge advantage already compared to myself.
The information that's available today, Arne, and that's, I guess, your program is probably someone with artificial intelligence. They could go capture all of that information eventually with a lot of hard work and effort. It's all out there in the public domain. But, what's real, what's believable, I would say you as a health coach for us, you've been a concentrator of that information, and you've done a great job of sorting through, I don't know if I'm going to swear again here, sorting through the bullshit, what's real and what's not real. And that's really, we may have been able to get to the result. And when you first interviewed me, you said, "Hey, Doug, you think you can do this?" I thought I knew some things. And you said, "If you think you can do it, why aren't you doing it?" And that kind of, you pushed back, and it's, okay, good point, Arne. I'm not doing it because I'm 20 pounds overweight and I don't have a good shape here. And you got us to where we needed to be very quickly. And I guess in terms of ROI of time and money, I don't feel that myself, or I think I can share this for Kenda as well, I've ever made a better investment in my life on anything than signing up with you to do this program, Arne. Now, I guess going forward, now we just got to do it for 10 or 20 or 30 years, right? That's the hard part.
I want you to be working out on the last day of your life and drop that at some point with a smile on your face, being like, hey, I've accomplished a lot in my life, and I enjoyed the last years of my life to the fullest, being pain-free, being independent, not getting my ass wiped by someone, and being able to do this stuff that I enjoy doing most, whether that's golfing, whether that's traveling, whether that's hiking up a mountain in Italy and enjoying the view with some pasta, right? You need a healthy, fit body for all of that. And only if you have that, life is worth living. That's a whole other thing. But going back to the information, yes, the information is not the bottleneck in today's society. As you said, ChatGPT could put together a decent plan. The thing is, what's missing most from my perspective is the customization based on the lifestyle, based on the blood work, setting the right priorities. People are getting in the weeds here and everybody's telling them something completely differently. So just knowing what relevation is relevant for me and my situation, that is making a difference. And then also having someone by your side to set goals with, to set KPIs with, to follow up with you, right? To hold you accountable. Because at the end of the day, again, the information is out there. Why do people not implement the information? Because they feel confused. They don't know how to integrate the science within all of the moving pieces of the day-to-day life. And this is where people struggle. Wouldn't you say so? Or is it just me?
No, I guess other segments of our business, Arne, we hire coaches and consultants,
Yeah.
to bring in people, because even as CEO of the company, I'm a bit of a generalist. I'm not an expert on all things in the business. So whether it's human resources or accounting or strategy development or operational excellence, whatever those things are, we hire professionals. The most important aspects of your life, of your world, is probably your health.
Yeah.
Why would I not consider to hire a consultant, which is what I view you as, a professional consultant that can facilitate and consolidate that information and give us some tools to succeed. And that's really what you've done. And I guess likewise in those other segments of my business, I could figure those things out, but I'm probably not going to do it as good, and it's probably going to take me twice as long. And that's always been my experience. The money spent on a professional consultant, just, it's a better job and it gets me there faster. It's money well spent.
Great. Yeah, no, I like that attitude. Okay, what would you say to someone who's on the fence, who's, oh, I'm super busy, I don't know if this is the right time for me, I don't know, I know what to do, I just have to do it. What would you say to someone like that, who's a business owner or executive, who's struggling with this thought of hiring a professional to do this with them?
I would probably say, again, I mentioned earlier that people say that there's no right time to start. The time to start is now, literally. And you have to enjoy what you're doing too.
Yeah.
You have to pick activities that you're going to see yourself doing 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And I think we fell into that trap years ago, thinking it was a diet and not realizing that we had to do this as a lifestyle change. So yeah, don't waste any more time. Just start today.
Yeah.
I'd give a bit of a soft sell, sarcastic answer, Arne, where I'd say and I love some of your videos where you say, and Kenda, I've been very careful not to do this, to say to anyone, you should do this. If people ask questions, we're very happy to share. But if you had somebody that's thinking about it, I would say, don't do it. How's things working for you today? How's that working for you? And I would say, I guess it sucks to suck. So either just keep doing that or sign on with Arne. You decide.
Love it. I love your humor. Yeah, it sucks to suck. Yeah, exactly. No, that was me back in the day. Suck to suck. All right. Yeah. Any yeah. All been there. When we have to learn. This is how we learn, through experience. But you can also learn through other people's experience, and then you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. So that's yeah. Any final words from you guys?
Just thank you, Arne, so much. It's been life-altering. Like I say, I still have some fear. Will we still be able to work out 30 years from now? I think of that in my mind, but I guess we break it down in small chunks.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One day at a time. Let's take it one day at a time with a big vision in the back of our heads, but then let's only focus on the next workout, on the next meal, on the next walk, on the next bedtime, on the next liter of water, and then it becomes doable. Okay, let's have some fun with this. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us, Arne.
We have a bright future ahead of us. We're far from being done yet. Okay, so let's get to work. All right.
Thanks, Arne.
Thank you. Enjoy yourselves. Okay.
That's it for today's show. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. If you want to lose weight but don't want to do it all by yourself, go to arnewildner.com/call and book an appointment for a free 15-minute phone call with us, where we'll look at your situation, your obstacles, and your goals to find out if and how we can help you.